All right, everybody, welcome back to the Huddle podcast. I'm Jacqueline, along here with Mark. We have a very special guest joining us today. We got one of the most likable athletes out there, Pittsburgh Steelers offensive tackle, the Hulk, Mr. Zach Banner. Thank you so much for coming on, Zach. How are you?
Hi guys, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. This is I've been waiting for this. Like, you can't see us, right?
Right.
You
I
can't. Okay.
cannot. I
Well,
cannot. Yes.
I'm currently repping the USC sweater for
Oh,
you.
fight on!
For
Fight
you.
on!
Yeah. So,
Fight on!
first of all, we want to congratulate you on your 2-year deal signed with the Steelers. Growing up, like, did you ever think that this would be your life?
Um, I've always dreamt about this being my life, and kind of just definitely controlled the situation and adjusted when life gave me bumps in the road.
Mhm.
But it was for a very short term, especially in comparison to other people. I'm very fortunate, in the first early part of my career, for my entire career, actually, I've been on an active roster. I'm blessed to say that.
Yeah.
But to be able to kind of level up and earn more and more, it's something I've been dreaming about since I was a kid, and
Yeah.
just controlling my situation, going far away from home for
Mhm.
school. But, would do it anytime, would do it over again in a heartbeat. It's just, those personal sacrifices and,
Mhm. Yeah.
and stepping away. It's one of those situations where I'm blessed.
Yeah, no, for sure, Zach. Thank you again, like Jacqueline was saying, for joining us here. I know we've been talking back and forth with you, and congratulations on that contract. A 2-year,
Thank you.
$9.7 million deal that was announced last month. I just wonder, how do you see, obviously coming off of that injury last year, how do you see your role with this offense as we approach training camp and a start of a new season
A
eventually?
huge responsibility. You know what I mean? They don't
Yeah.
appreciate you putting my paycheck out there. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. But they don't pay for that for nothing. You know what I mean? So it's obviously going to be a sizable contribution. I'm definitely, like I said, I'm blessed, but it's also a responsibility. You know what I mean? I wouldn't
Mhm.
call it a
Yeah.
burden. I wouldn't call it anything else but a responsibility. So it's up to me personally to be able to contribute, my full self and take a certain role in this team. That's something that I've been working for and I've earned. So I
Mhm.
just, like I said, it's very humbling.
Amazing. Yeah. So what's it like playing with Big Ben and having Mike Tomlin as your coach? Like, these are some of the most, like, iconic names in football.
Yeah, seven can definitely be a character sometimes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
both in a funny and inspirational way, which is awesome.
Yeah, for
Like you
sure.
said, he's old, so he's been playing for a while, and it's obviously Coach Tomlin's a little bit older,
Yeah.
but he's in the same boat. Like it's family, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
um, love them both. They're both great to work with. Like, there's really nothing bad to say about him. Uh,
Yeah, for sure.
he's really witty. Sometimes he embarrasses me in front of the rest of the team, just because of how witty he was. Like, he just came back from the like. We just ended up getting vaccinated, like
Oh, awesome.
a
Yeah.
week couple, like so. And when we all met up to do it, uh, he's like really tan, like almost like my color. And I was like, I asked him, I was like, did you get a tanning bed at the house? And
Yeah.
he was like, no, it's the Bahamas. It's called the Bahamas. And I'm just like, wow, that's
Of
where he's been
course.
training for the last couple months. And
That's
and
great.
that's just part of his personality.
That's awesome.
Uh, I'm wondering, Zach, how have you, obviously, as I mentioned, you tore your ACL last year, and I'm sure it's been a difficult year recovering from that. Have those guys helped you out? Ben Roethlisberger's obviously dealt with some injuries in his life. Have those guys helped you out with the whole recovery process over the
Yeah, I
past?
mean, from the moment where he's like holding my head on the field when I'm
Mhm.
injured
Yeah.
Yeah.
to checking in with me, to checking in with me thoroughly throughout the season. I was at the facility. You know what I mean? I wasn't on the field, but I was there.
Mhm.
Right.
And Coach Tomlin, are you kidding? Like, we talk like every other day, whether it's in person or on the phone. There's just big plans we have around here as a team. That's why I'm kind of happy the signing get done and quick, so it can move on from me and about the team.
Yeah, awesome for
For
sure.
sure.
I want to go back to you signing with USC. I gotta see that campus. Like Mark and I both go to school in Canada, but I gotta see that campus in February of 2020. And oh my gosh, that campus is unbelievable, so
Isn't it
beautiful.
crazy?
It's
Isn't
it's
it
like
crazy? And you would never know it's in South Central Los Angeles.
Zach, if you saw our campus at school, we go to school right outside of Toronto. Our
Right.
campus maybe takes what? It's like it's maybe a 2 minute walk from each building. USC, it's like what, a 30-minute walk from
Yeah.
it's a town. So
Yeah.
so you had tons of offers going into college. What was the main thing about USC is why?
Uh, yeah. I mean, you're all the way in Canada, and you have our sweater on. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
that's a telltale, and it's like
Right.
it's one of those type of things that explains itself. It's a perennial school. It's in football and in academics,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
also it's super West Coast. Like if you guys, I know you guys follow me and pay attention. Like
Yeah.
I'm super coasty myself. That's what we try to call it. Sounds a little corny, but it's funny. But I just like it's the inner city, Los Angeles. Very similar to the town Tacoma, Washington, and Seattle that I grew up in,
Mhm.
and it was the best fit for me. It was really between them and Oklahoma, both great schools for different reasons,
For sure.
but one's in Southern California. You know what I mean? And
Of
like
course,
I said, I've
yeah.
been a West Coast kid my whole life, so I loved it.
Of course. It's beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, Zach. We want to touch a little bit more on your personal life throughout this interview. You've always been a community guy, a great guy, as Jacqueline said off the beginning. How important is it to you to use your platform and fight for that social change and make that change?
Yeah, like I just there's so many cameras on us,
Hmm.
There's
Right.
so much like attention. Um, I have a platform,
Yeah.
and I just I just want to be able to take advantage of it. It's
For
not
sure.
forever. And it's not like I'm like, trying to steal a spotlight for the wrong reasons. Of course, I want to
Hmm.
help the kids, but when you're in the prime of your life and your career, it's one of those things you have to take advantage of. And like I said, we play in the best brand of sports in America, and
Yeah.
and it's like I said, it's a big responsibility, but I just thoroughly enjoy it. I thoroughly enjoy educating kids, mentoring kids, really just taking a hold of making sure their lives are going uphill.
For sure. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah, like I wanted to mention, like you also speak a lot about the Jewish community. I'm Jewish. I've talked about it on the podcast a lot. So,
There
when
you go.
when I saw your message that you posted last year about Deshaun Jackson, like I was really like, wow, like this is amazing. Seeing someone who is not Jewish, but you were in a Jewish frat, which I want to get into. But seeing you stand up was really really amazing. So I want to thank you for that. And I know the entire community does as well. Um, and then going into the frat. So you joined the Jewish frat at USC. Did you know they were Jewish right away?
No, they tricked me into. They said
They that Yeah.
multicultural. Yeah, I didn't know it was Jewish until I was like a year into it. But you know what I
Wow.
mean? That's like, and it was just like it really wouldn't change my mind about it. I just saw it
Yeah.
as a frat at school, and it was a brotherhood. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
really wasn't about race or ethnicity or culture or religion at all. It was really just uh, really just the right fit for me. And
Yeah.
I pledged like everybody else. I
Mhm.
enjoyed it, and
yeah,
I enjoy being a Zeeb, and it's an honor. And there's so many other people within our network that it's an honor.
For sure. That's awesome. Yeah, like growing up, did you know anything about like Jewish history or any Jewish people?
Not at all, but
None.
I think that's a reflection of our education system, especially our public. I went to a public school, so
Yeah.
in the inner city, so it's just it's not it was the best education in the world, but
Yeah.
um, yeah, and I think that's unfortunate that us Americans only get to hear stories about Anne Frank, and that's it. We're
Right.
very
Yeah.
very very just minimal sources of history and research and
For sure. Like
a sense of a curriculum.
I think it's same thing here. Like I kind of grew up in a bubble, like very big Jewish community. I had like a lot of just Jewish friends, but then getting into school, like we go to a school and there's a community of Jewish people, but then you meet tons of kids who have never met a Jewish person or don't know anything about the history or anything like that. So I think you speaking up about it will make people be like, oh, this guy isn't Jewish. Maybe I should kind of go back and read into the history and stuff. So it's
Exactly.
it's amazing.
And you got a lot of that education, Zach, you're saying, through kind of that frat experience and your time, I guess, with that brotherhood?
To be honest, man, not really.
No.
I've admitted that I've learned more in the last year and a half about
Yeah.
the Jewish people than I have my entire life. I just had some experiences where I saw, some guys get called certain names and things like that, and then react a certain way, and then I'm like, hey, what does that mean? And it was one of those situations where I just learned that any hate against anyone is really not cool at all. Actually, it sucks, and
For sure,
I felt like that was the vibes around everything, especially when I did the video, and I understand that, and I accept that responsibility of being an ally, because I think we all should.
Yeah.
But it was really just natural.
And then I'm sure you're aware of the whole Myers-Leonard situation that took place. What would you say is the best way to handle it? Would you say education is the best way and not to fully cancel him out?
Yeah, like educating him is definitely the ideal. Like it's not really so much about canceling out. It's about holding
Yeah.
people responsible. I don't want to take away anything. In terms of punishments and things like that. I don't think it was something that was, in my opinion, mattered. But to a certain extent, we have to understand that those are critical mistakes and they hurt people, and
sure.
especially with such a diverse audience. I mean, look, we're talking to two Canadian football fans. Like,
Yeah,
like we have a lot to cover, and
sure.
you have to be respectful to the entire audience. And when you mess up something like that, you have to be able to speak up, not only for yourself, but others need to speak up against that message.
Sure.
I know, and I think that is a tremendous message that you're kind of spreading around there, Zach. I know you talked about the youth and the kids a minute ago. I did want to ask you about your foundation, the B3 Foundation. Did you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, it focuses on education and really just to the point where we want to bring a team together, and we feel like we're better together. And if you go to b3foundation.org, you'll see that we focus on education throughout our couple locations. They all mean something dear to me. Los Angeles, obviously, because I went to USC. Tacoma, Seattle, greater Seattle area, because that's where I grew up, and my mother's from Guam. And we're looking at adding Pittsburgh as a location too. And it's just emphasizing on, we do things like backpack giveaways. We're actually finalizing, picking out our finalists for our annual scholarship that we just started, the Ron and Vanessa Banner Scholarship, which is named after my parents. It's $40,000 commitment, $10,000 a year for 4 years.
Wow.
We're going to give that out annually. So we're already in the process of narrowing down to our finalists. We had an application process a couple months ago, and over 60 kids applied and had beautiful stories. And like I said, we're going to be able to change lives for those who excel at school and those who need help, and so many different other things. So go check it out at b3foundation.org.
Yeah, I'm going to put that link in the description on our YouTube channel for sure. Everybody go check that out. I want to ask you, if you weren't playing football, what do you think your career would be?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I would have to say, well, I studied sports writing. I studied broadcast journalism at USC.
Okay.
And but that's always been in lieu with my career and everything,
Yeah. You've been in the media, yeah.
In my backup plan when I was in high school, I wanted to get a criminal justice degree before I got into broadcast, and so I wanted to either become a police officer or do something in law.
Wow.
But yeah, I never, being 27 years old. You haven't been asked that question in a while. You either
Yeah, I'm
figured it
sure.
out or you haven't, you know?
I'm sure, of course.
Yeah, of course, Zach. I wanted to ask, the draft's coming up this week. How you mentioned off the top how grateful you were for being on a roster for your whole 4 years in the league. How was it hearing your name called 4 years ago?
Yeah, it was awesome. Kind of
And what?
shitty when it was by an orangutan, but outside of
Yes.
that,
Yep.
outside of being that guy, I mean, it's a blessing. You know what I mean? Like being the 137th pick, I definitely had dreams of going higher throughout my life. But like I said, I was grateful because there's guys who went undrafted and who are out of the league. But
Yeah.
that just seems so long ago. You know?
Yeah, it
Of
does. It
course.
does. Yeah, and go ahead.
And what would you be telling these incoming draftees who are going to hear their names called on Thursday? What is a word of advice you kind of have to them, Zach?
Don't change anything really. Like
Mm,
you can't change over this process. You can only get better. You know, like veterans
Exactly.
like don't come back every year
mhm.
unless they're better than the year before, or else you don't get paid. Like, does that make sense? Like sooner or later, like if you don't produce or show like you can produce at a certain value
Mhm.
or increase that value by
Of
going up,
course.
then you're going to be out of the league.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Like going back to that draft, you didn't end up making the team. Did you think that was the end, or did you kind of use that as motivation to get on a team?
No, I definitely knew it wasn't the end. It wasn't, you know, it was scary because it was a reality check and a gut check.
Yeah.
But it was really it was more of a like a wake up call. Like it just having a weight problem and having that and figuring that out that was a blessing.
Mhm.
Like I said, remember, like it's don't stay the same, get better. Like that
Yeah.
was my advice. Like I got so much better that off season after I got cut
Mhm.
after my rookie year, and it ended up changing the course. And there's one coach out of 32 that fell in love with me, and
Mhm.
he just paid me a lot of money to be able to do what I
Yeah,
do. So I'm grateful.
that's great.
No, of course, Zach, and you talked about the brotherhood with Pittsburgh and how grateful you are to be there. The running back that you've blocked for the past couple of years is going to be leaving your team. I know you put out a tweet on James Conner the other day. How much are you going to miss him in the
Mhm.
backfield?
Yeah, I'm happy for JC because like when things don't work out with a certain organization, like
Mhm.
I said, there's 31 other teams, and he's going to be a guy who's going to play for a very long time. If not, he's also an amazing human being, an amazing brother, and
Yeah.
I wish him well. Like it's not like he's not, he's going to a pretty sunny place, so
Yeah,
it's
Yeah.
pretty nice over there.
for sure. I gotta ask you, what are your thoughts on Juju's TikTok dances?
I don't have TikTok on my phone,
Oh, you
so
don't have it.
I
Okay.
miss all of his antics.
Oh, you haven't seen any
Corvette.
of that, Corbin. Yeah.
Nah, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's great. But yeah, you just posted yesterday, I believe, that there's an event for you're doing on Thursday, an online event. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how we can see it?
Yeah, actually, it's being changed to a pre-recording, so
Okay.
it'll be blasted out there. That'll be changed. Wait for that update of that news. But
Yeah.
Alicia and I are teaming up to just talk about the good fight against hate and
Hmm.
racism and some things, and just it's more of an we got some other people on there too. It's going to be really informative, and it's going to be a great conversation.
Awesome.
Zach, do you think the league has done enough in that aspect in terms of the rules around minorities and with social justice in general?
Yeah, I think they're trying to. Obviously, it's not enough if things are still going on,
Hmm.
but it's a continued fight. It'd
For
be like
sure.
being upset with somebody who can't control something fully. And I'm just happy they stepped their game up, especially when it comes to like social injustices and speaking out against hate.
Of
For
course,
sure.
of
For
course.
sure. Yeah, I think we're gonna wrap it up soon. So Zach, once COVID is all over, and if you're ever in Toronto, you gotta come over for Shabbat dinner. I'll show you my bar mitzvah photos. We'll do all of that. Okay.
That's awesome. Have a nice spread of food. Like I gotta
Of
try
course.
Canadian food.
We will. Thank you, Zach, for coming on. The Jewish community absolutely adores you. We had a great time chatting. Good luck to you this season. I don't think you know, but Mark here is a Jags fan. I'm a Giants fan, but we are for sure now Zach Banner fans.
Oh, of course.
So Steelers
Thank you guys
fans.
for having me.
Of course. Thank you so much, Zach. Goodbye.